tell these kids all the time, hey, is tomorrow's practice going to matter? Well, yeah, coach won't let me play on Saturday. Okay, is Saturday going to matter? Oh, well, there's a scout. Does that scout pick one game and determine your entire future on one game? Well, no, they look at film and they do this and they do that and they come multiple scouting reports. So cool. What you're telling me is that none of the 3 things that you just told me are important are actually important.
Mm-hmm.
Rest.
Yeah.
Sit it out.
Yeah.
Let coach be pissed at you.
Yeah.
Coach is worried about win-loss right now. He's not necessarily worried about your health.
Yeah.
He's not. Most coaches are not. I should say that. They're all coaches are coaches.
Yeah.
They're doing what they know, right? Surgeons are surgeons. PTs are PTs. Everyone stays in the lane. At the end of the day, you are the athlete. You need to take care of your own body. You need to learn what to. Even mom and dad cannot tell you how your body feels. Welcome to Toggle Talk, guys. We are back. Andrew and I are back talking this week about burnout. Both from the athlete side and from the clinician, medical provider side. So where do you want to start? Which side of things do we want to tackle?
Let's start with athletes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start there. And so just when I think what'll happen is, especially with younger athletes, they may not really understand like what's going on when their body is getting stale or when they're starting to feel the burnout. And so what I've noticed is, I mean, we see the decline in performance. For them, they're probably wondering, why is this happening?
Stop looking at the towels.
Do I need to train more? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, I'm looking at the towels. That's insane. That's crazy.
I was burnt out, folded up the other way, all right? I'm going off script.
What is going on there? What is
going
on? I was supposed to be the one that did the weird stuff. You're throwing me off. Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna be burnt out now after that. But yeah, like I think being able to step in and kind of let folks know, like it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to give your body a rest, and then understanding how peak performance and how those things will work. Like you can't, and this is something I try to express to people or explain to them. It's like you can't train at like such a high level all the time.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to like have a deload. At some point, you're gonna have to cut the weight back, cut the volume back. The intensity is gonna have to go down. So then that way you can increase the intensity again.
Right.
And so that way your performance will improve. And so it's something that's kind of hard to, I think, explain to folks because we've always been taught no pain, no gain. You got to keep going. The more training you do, the better.
Yep.
And you will burn yourself out and your body won't be able to keep up. You start to become stale. You know, stress starts to increase. Your sleep starts to get kind of messed up from that as well.
Yeah.
Muscle damage can occur. You get really bad DOMs, things like that. And so it's really important for, I think, us as clinicians or coaches and, you know,
huge
strength coaches, athletic coaches, athletic trainers to really talk about these things, because when athletes see us, I think sometimes they're thinking like, oh, okay, I gotta go hard. I gotta do more. And so knowing when to tell someone, hey, it is okay to take the rest break.
Yeah.
It is okay to take a week off. It doesn't mean go sit on the couch and do nothing.
Right.
But you're not going to be able to do that high of intensity all the time. And
we have that conversation so often, and it's not just the athletes, it's the parents that we have to talk to as well.
Yeah.
We try to get it out to the trainers and the coaches and things like that, but sometimes that's where the problem is happening, is the coaches and the trainers are going, no. Oh, you're a wide receiver and you don't have a wide receivers coach? Oh, you got to go get a wide receivers coach. Oh, you don't have a speed coach? Okay, you got to go get a speed coach. Oh, you don't have a strength and conditioning coach? You got to go get that. So now this kid is not only, 5 times a week in practice, a game on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day they're playing, but now they've got 3 other trainings every week. And then they're coming to PT, my knee hurts. Stop doing all 45 things that you're doing. Take a break. Oh, no, I can't do that. I can't play on Friday or Saturday if I don't do this stuff, so I got to keep going.
Exactly.
And it's this mindset that's been drilled into them is more is better, more is better, more is better. I'm like, more is not better if you can't play.
Yeah.
More is not better if you turn into a stress fracture or avulsion fracture, something like that, where now you are going to be out 6 to 8 weeks no matter what in a best case scenario,
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no. It's not like that. I'm like, it absolutely can be. Like your knee pain can turn into, I'm like, nah. And then I'll point out some kids that we've worked with that they've also like gone to school with or whatever. And they're like, no way, that's what he had. I'm like, yeah, he was in here for weeks before, didn't listen. And then it turned into game 6 that he was still playing on a tendonitis or this or that or the other.
Yeah.
Finally his body said, nope, we're done.
Doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yep,
Yeah.
past that. And it's not just the physical burnout, it's the mental burnout too.
Oh, yeah.
I see that all the time where it's not even the athlete's passion is gone, right? They walk in here, they're, all right, what are we doing today?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're completely dragging. Like I joke, I'm like, we're doing a therapeutic nap.
Yeah.
We're doing nothing. Let's go sit in the corner and be quiet for an hour. Put your phone away, take your ear pods out, be with yourself in dead silence, for a minute. They're like, no, I can't do that. Like, I'll take a nap, but I'll have my phone. No, that's not taking a nap.
Yeah. Now you're on your phone,
Yeah, like, so it's tough to see that side of things too, because we've seen kids that have got a lot of athletic potential that have been burned out by the more mentality.
Yeah.
And then they quit.
Yeah.
And they quit. They're in their junior, senior year, and they're like, nah, I'm done. I need to step away.
It's too much. It's too much.
Perfect example. We have an athlete that actually just committed for football, but he had not played football for the last 2 years because he got burned out after the first couple of years of playing. He's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm injured all the time. My body hurts.
Yeah.
This is just not how I foresee when I played basketball, because that's what he loved to do. And then came back and was like, okay, yeah, the coaches want me on the football team. Let's give it a go. There's no pressure. There's nothing. Like, I'm just going to have fun. Turns out he was still pretty damn good.
Yeah, still got
signed.
Still got it.
So he's like, but again, that's an perfect example of, he took 2 years away from the sport because all of that just piling onto him and his schedule, and got to do more.
Yeah.
So it's tough to see.
It is, because like you were saying, I don't think that they even realize it's happening at first, because it's ingrained into you that you have to do more, and then you don't want to lose the edge, right?
Right. Yep.
Like, you don't want to lose your spot to the next person. You
Someone
don't
else
want to
is
be
gonna
second string. You're trying to go to a big school.
Right.
All the other kids are working out and training this hard all the time, so like, I have to do that.
Yeah.
And so it does become a little bit of a slippery slope, and especially once you start dealing with injuries and stuff like that, because you're going to have changes to your body, and there's things that you have to do a little bit differently. You got to take, you have to take care of your body a little bit differently. I like the example you use about Adrian Peterson, how he was, after his injuries, he's showing up to practice 2 hours ahead of time to do his rehab stuff, to do his warm-up stuff, to do all the things that he needed to do, because
just to be ready for practice.
He had to be ready, because like, things change, your proprioception changes.
Yeah.
Muscle tissues start to change a little bit. The way that you're able to contract your muscles changes. The load tolerance starts to change.
Yeah.
We try to improve that, obviously, but that's a real thing. After you have these injuries or stuff like that, because maybe you were burnt out and you're tired and you're trying to train hard, but you're training tired and you're not rested.
Yep.
And then you start to increase those risks of like possibly hurting yourself. So
yeah, we see that all the time. Talk about injury risk and the mindset. Being out there. If you're not fully committed to what you're doing, you're not. No matter what we do in here in training, you're not peak performing, which means your injury risk is significantly higher right off the bat. Just walking on the field without doing anything else. Your brain is somewhere else.
Yeah.
Your body wants to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so now you're putting yourself in dynamic positions that put strain through your whole body. Your brain's going, not today. I'm not ready for this,
Yeah.
And we change there's days where kids come in and they're like, okay, today was going to be, agility and plyometrics. And they walk in, Like, okay, cool. Today, nope. Let's do some stretching, some functional mobility work. Let's check in on how everything else is going. Let's chat. Maybe get you on the table, do some body work type stuff. Like that's not happening today.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was really looking forward to it. I'm like, you're barely awake.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, well, coach let me out of practice 2 hours late yesterday, and we had another practice at 6 a.m. this morning, and oh, and you have a job, and you have this, and you're going to school, and okay, yeah, we're not primed for anything right now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's crazy how many people ignore that kind of burnout symptoms, or how many like parents, hey, no, come on, keep going, you can do better.
Yeah.
Get back out there, come on. Like, your kid literally just told you he doesn't want to play anymore, and you're the one pushing him now.
Yeah.
So we have that conversation with athletes all the time, even when they're some of our youth athletes that come in, if the parent steps away for a second, I'm like, hey, what's your goal? Mom and dad told me you wanted to play football, but you didn't answer. Do you want to go back and play football again? Oh, well, I mean, yeah, if I can, but
yeah.
Others are, heck yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm absolutely getting back on the soccer field. I'm going to play 100%. Cool. This person's committed. The kid that's, well, didn't think I'd be out for a year, with this injury. Doc didn't tell me, no one told me, you're telling me, they're crying on the table now,
Yeah.
Hate to be the first one to tell you, but yeah, oh, maybe I don't want to go back and play. Maybe, because then rehab also looks different. Right?
Yeah.
We're not rehabbing you to become a star athlete anymore. We're rehabbing to make sure that you have full function. If you ever do want to play sports again, you're good to go, but it's completely different mindset and completely different approach for sure.
Yeah. And that's something that I think is important to really know and understand, like for yourself, like as an athlete, is just knowing, okay, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, am I doing this because it's something I want to do and that I love to do? Or is it because my folks are having me do it? Or is it because I think my friends want me to do it? Others are going to appreciate me more, or they're going to respect me more if I do it.
Right.
And then you start kind of getting away from, that passion, that drive to do it. And when it comes to performing at a peak level, there's so much of it that is mental. And if you already are unsure about being out there, it's going to be really hard to get into that zone. It's going to be really hard. Like, if you're not well rested, it's going to be really hard.
Yep.
So like, for those of them that really are, I just want to perform as best I can. I want to be at the peak of what I can do. You have to really want to be out there.
Right.
Because you want to be there. Not because your folks want you to be there, not because you think your friends want you to be there. You have to really be out there because you want to be there. And then on top of that, you have to be rested.
Right.
Your body has to be ready to go, or else you're just not going to perform at that level. And so I think peak performance is just very interesting in itself, because all of those pieces that go into it, I mean, if you're burnt out, you're not going to have peak performance. If you're stressed about it, you're not going to have peak performance.
Yeah.
If you're questioning what you're doing out there, you're not going to have peak performance. It's very much like you have to feel at one with your body in that place, like in that setting. If it's on the court, if it's on the field, if you're on the ice, whatever it is, you have to be able to get yourself into a very, I would say, like a very amazing state that some people probably have never even experienced in their life, but you can't be burnt out. You can't be burnt out. You can't be questioning if this is something you want to do, because you won't reach that.
As soon as you ask that question, it's over. Yeah.
You won't reach it.
The game is already done.
Yeah. And so I think that maybe being able to teach athletes that as well, of like, these are some of the things that go into you even being able to achieve getting into the zone. And most athletes, they've been there before. Yeah. Every shot was falling. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I caught every ball.
Today was that elusive
I was just
game.
Yeah. Like out of body experience type thing. Well, yeah, you probably felt good that day. You probably weren't stressed about anything. Yep. You were probably able to just think about playing football.
You're out there having fun.
Just playing basketball.
Yep.
And that was it.
You were playing, exactly.
You were just playing.
You weren't competing. You weren't doing anything else. You were out there having a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, from that kind of burnout conversation, the kind of physical manifestation we always talk about is overtraining, overuse injuries, things like that. So you're talking about all the Osgood Schlatters and Sievers and so many kind of distinctive overtraining based or overactivity based kind of injury groupings, and all of them. And when I look at them and I chat with kids, I'm like, all of this is preventable. You just had to take some time off.
Yeah.
You could have taken a week or two off and you would have been fine.
Yeah.
Really? Like, yeah. All you're doing right now is you grew too fast. Because again, bones grow faster than muscles, ligaments, and tendons can adapt. So you went out there again trying to peak perform at a non-optimal level. You were in pain, you were inflamed. That's why you got hurt. That's why you got injured. Now you have all these kind of sequela, this back and forth of I'm good for a couple of weeks, then I'm bad again. Then I'm good again, I'm bad again. I'm like that. All that micro trauma is starting to add up, and now no matter what we do again, the damage is done. We only get one body. I tell these kids all the time, hey, is tomorrow's practice going to matter? Well, yeah, coach won't let me play on Saturday. Okay, is Saturday going to matter? Oh, well, there's a scout. Does that scout pick one game and determine your entire future on one game? Well, no, they look at film and they do this and they do that and they come multiple scouting reports. So cool. What you're telling me is that none of the three things that you just told me are important are actually important. Rest. Sit it out. Let coach be pissed at you. Coach is worried about win-loss right now. He's not necessarily worried about your health. He's not. Most coaches are not, I should say that. They're all, coaches are coaches. They're doing what they know, right? Surgeons are surgeons. PTs are PTs. Everyone stays in the lane. At the end of the day, you are the athlete. You need to take care of your own body. You need to learn. But even mom and dad cannot tell you how your body feels, right? They might be protective and they might try to do the best for you, but that's all it is. Even me as a parent, as a kid, we joke with my wife. I'm like, hey, we got screwed up in one way by our parents. We're going to try to do everything differently. We're going to screw our kids up in a different way. So it's not going to be perfect. The only person that can control how you're feeling is you. So it's such a deep and bigger conversation. And I'm thankful that it's being had more and more now, right? Like with this attention to mental health, with this attention to, hey, look at all of these pro athletes that are at the top of their leagues. All multi-sport athletes all the way through college, didn't specialize early. So they're preventing all this breakdown in their bodies. They're investing in rehab and recovery throughout the time so that they don't burn out. Just last week we were talking about it with Kawhi Leonard and kind of injury management, and everyone's knocking him. And I'm like, guess what? He knows his body. And he said, I don't care who you are. I control my body. And I know that the next week or two, I'm not going to be optimal, so I'm not playing. I'm not going to risk my body for you. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you pay me. And it's yes, it's bad on one side because he's not playing and the team has paid him a lot of money. But at the end of the day, he learned how to play the game. Hey, I know all you care about is wins and losses. All I care about is me. So you take care of your wins and losses, I'll take care of me. And that he's truly embodied that too, When I sat down and really thought about it, I was like, nobody should be mad at him. He's doing exactly what we've told all of our kids to do. He's taking himself and, hey, this is me. This is my body. I'm not messing with it.
Because then that's going to just affect him later on.
That's it. I mean, look at how many people, what's the average time in the NFL? 2.5, 3 years, before injury or something else kicks him out of the league. I don't know what's in the NBA. I think it's a little bit longer, but still, you're talking about kids that are done with their primary careers by 20, 30 tops. And many of them have never had any kind of other backup too. So now you're burnt out. You don't play a sport. You're coming in with tons of injuries, coming out of it at 20 or 30 years old. What do you do for the rest of your life now? Your body's banged up. Your mind's banged up.
It's a lot.
And then you add in, with football and hockey and some of these other concussions. Now we're getting off topic, but
no, it's true. It's true because that's another type of burnout that you experience. I think a lot of times, especially hearing like pro athletes talking about stepping away and the kind of that dilemma that they're in, especially when they step away because they physically cannot anymore. You
Yeah.
know, they may be young, but injuries pile up, you know, things like that.
Right.
We had the situation with Tua earlier this
Right.
year when they're going, okay, well, is he going to keep playing?
Right.
You know, is he not
Should
going to
he
keep
keep
playing?
playing,
Should
right?
he keep playing? Is it safe for him to play?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, like it's, you know, it's his choice.
Correct.
But
we should be getting
it's one of those things where you kind of go, well, hey man, like
Yeah.
this is getting kind of, it's getting scary.
Scary.
It's
Yeah.
getting scary.
Yeah.
You're still very young. You have your whole life ahead of you, you know? So
Yeah.
it can get kind of tough, and those talks can get very difficult, especially when someone's whole life has been
Right.
this sport, or
Yeah.
their whole life has been this activity, you know?
Well,
And it's
talking about burnout, talk about the pressure from the family side of things. Some of these families have invested everything into their kid making it to that level.
yeah.
And then now we're telling them, hey, rest, take time off, you know, relax. No. This whole family is relying on your paycheck. They're relying on you to make.
Yeah.
So that added burden of carrying the family, carrying a generation of, you know, taking your family out of poverty potentially with a lot of these guys, you know, like it's heavy.
It's a lot.
That's heavy. That's a heavy crown to bear.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, man.
So it's not even just the athletic side of things. It's all that other stuff that gets piled on. And it's not just athletes, it's our everyday clients too, you know.
Yeah.
We talk about chronic pain and, you know, how stress and mindset affect the development of acute pain into chronic pain and that transition, you know. It's crazy. There's been clients that I've barely done anything physically with them, you know, whether it's hands-on work, exercises. We've done more of the chronic pain conversation of, hey, there's probably stressors in your life. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The last time you hurt, there were probably the similar stressors. Actually, 10 years ago, so such and such happened.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I had an episode of back pain or this.
Yeah.
Oh, all of a sudden you have back pain again. But you're telling me you didn't change your activity level, you didn't work out any differently, you didn't do nothing else changed in your life except for the stress.
Yeah.
It's your stress. It's your mind. It's your brain that's screwing around with everything else.
And that, I mean, I've had that conversation today with someone where, I think also just validating folks and kind of understanding like, this is a tough process sometimes. This is not easy. It's not easy. It's a lot. Like you're going through, an injury, you can't work, you can't do the things that you like to do normally. Your body's not moving the way that you like it to move. And so it becomes like a bit of a grinder. Yeah. And as a clinician, I think that we have to really meet people where they're at. I know that this is tough and I see you working really hard, and I can only imagine this is hard. It's not easy. And it's okay for you to have a day where I can't today. I can't. I cannot today. I cannot do therapy today. I can't challenge it today. I can't push today. That's fine. Yep. It's okay. We're going to have those days. And I'm glad that you came here and you're having this conversation with me, because that's better than you just neglecting your feelings. Yeah. You've expressed your feelings to me. You've told me what's going on. We can navigate through something a little bit differently now. And then at least now you're in a better spot versus kind of like what we talked about with the athletes before, cracking the whip. Like, no, you can't be tired.
Right.
You have to keep going.
Yeah, that's
you
kind of almost self-abuse. Yeah.
Like you have to keep doing it. And then they come in.
Don't be lazy. Don't be.
Oh, no, I can do it. I can do another one. I can do another one. I can do another one. And now I get to the point where I tell people, I know you can do another one, but I don't need to. I don't need you to. I don't need you to do another one. I saw you do it. You did it perfectly fine. And sometimes that can also be the fun thing working with athletes, because they're going to push. Yep. And so, but it's just knowing when to say stop, because sometimes they don't. They won't. They won't stop.
An athlete won't stop.
They won't.
Ever.
And so.
Ball is life, right? Like everything is that becomes. And that's the case with anything, right? If you're a high-level business exec, if you're high level at anything, you are at a certain point obsessed with what you are doing and with the process and getting better and being better and beating everyone else, Yeah. You become obsessed with it. Yeah. Even now, running a company, I'm like, okay, how do I get better? I want to do more. And my wife's like, hey, you achieved your goals from last year. Can you slow down? I'm like, no. I got more. we got to keep going. There's more. It's if we're doing it better, then we can take it from other people. We can do more.
It's funny how that happens. Like you'll look back and be like, oh yeah, I did get that goal and that goal over there and that one. But I'm looking at these over here,
And while looking at that, then you start fumbling over yourself. You start causing your, problems at home, problems with this. Sleep deprived, nutrition deficiencies, all this stuff, because like, hey, my goal is this tournament. And so no matter what my body feels like, no matter what, I'm pushing. And so you're right. We spend the most time with these clients. Yeah. So it's our job to almost be like, hey, time out. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. I had this conversation with young athletes. I have this conversation with NFL pros where it's like, hey, look, you don't need to stack on another 45-pound plate. Like, you are never going to encounter someone that's bigger than this stack of weights right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can get stronger. I'm like, then get stronger functionally.
Mm-hmm.
Get into your position. Let's do drills. Let's do this, that, the other. Let's get more efficient with your hand-eye coordination.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you're sure? Like, dude, you're already benching 350 pounds.
Yeah.
You're already deadlifting 400 pounds. You're already squatting 600 pounds. No, you are good. You don't need any more.
Yeah. Let's work on something a little differently.
And then they wonder, like, why is my back hurt all the time? Because you've killed your body. You've destroyed your body with more and more and more.
Well, and I think also just knowing as a coach or as a clinician when someone's performance is starting to peak.
Yeah.
Because if you can figure that out and you can see it, and sometimes in the rehab setting it may be a little bit tough because we are, even though it's not a linear progress, we are okay, let's do a little more, because the person coming in is usually either underloaded or they can't load as well anyways, because they're dealing with pain or we're dealing with healing.
Yep.
And so, but even then we still have to kind of recognize, okay, this person's been crushing it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is their performance peaking right now? Right. What does that mean what does that mean for week 3? Mm-hmm. Does week 3 mean they're going to be crushing it again? Or does week 3 mean like, okay, let's tone it down a little bit.
Deload
let's like switch up and do something a little bit differently, and then, go back to doing that stuff again.
Yeah.
And so I think really looking at that, especially when you start getting into the strength and conditioning realm, because like we said, some of these athletes, and not even just athletes, some of the folks that I work with that are just trying to stay healthy are gonna want to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And especially when they see that they're making some progress, it's just like, ooh, like I want to do a little more. And so when I put someone on a deload, they're kind of confused sometimes.
I was doing so good. Why did something happen?
Why are we doing this? And I'm just like, well, you just PR'd last week. What do you mean?
Right.
And they're just like, well, I don't know. I thought that like maybe I get another PR. And I'm like, we could do that, or we give you a deload, we work you up a little bit more, and then 5-6 weeks from now, maybe you do get another PR.
Right.
Or we try to get another PR next week. Then your back starts hurting.
Right.
Now we got to take you out of this program, do rehab stuff, try to get you coached back up again. Mm-hmm. And then it's this long drawn out process.
Yeah.
And I've been working with someone where similar situation starts peaking in performance. I'm like, okay, don't do more. Mm-hmm. Oh, but it feels good. I'm like, don't. Just keep it in pocket for now.
Yep.
Because I need you to peak later on.
Yeah.
So like if I start noticing it, I'm like, nope. Reel it back in.
Backtrack. Yep.
Reel it back in just a little bit. And I could be wrong, but that's just how I approach it. And I've had success in that way.
Yeah.
Versus letting someone just
drive constantly,
keep running with it, and then now they're burnt out.
Because then we add to the problem. Yeah, exactly.
And so
we have the conversation. We work with Nevada Ballet, and we have that conversation all the time with some of them. Is like, hey, look, you're already doing 6-7 hours of training every day. We don't necessarily need to tack on tons more.
Yeah.
Yes. Can we change maybe a couple of things with your warm up? Hey, take these 2 or 3 things out, add these 2 or 3 things in. Absolutely. But I don't want to keep giving you more and more and more, because some of the problems are already, your body is telling you,
you're mentally
and physically done.
Yeah.
Like, we need to do less. So sometimes the recommendation is, hey, can you take a day or two off? When's the next time you can take some time off and just shut it down? Do some other activity, you know, active recovery. Go for a swim, use the rower or something that's low impact, still maintains your kind of cardiovascular endurance type of stuff. But they're like, oh, you sure? Like, I thought you were going to give me more. And I'm like, you already got too much on your plate.
You're doing a lot of
we're not. We'll tweak here and there. Let's change some things with your warm-ups. Let's take a look at how you cool down. Let's work with the program you already have and maybe tweak some things.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you're already in Pilates? Perfect. They can do core and hip stuff. Just tell your Pilates instructor next time, focus entirely on this and that and the other.
Exactly.
Oh, cool. Perfect. I go to them tomorrow. Perfect. We don't need to do that today then.
Yeah. Let them do that.
Yeah.
Let's not
we can work with all the other professionals. And that's the struggle too sometimes, is that when we reach out to some other professionals, they feel like, oh, someone's trying to steal my client. Oh, they think they're better than me now. So don't ever go back to that doc. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't ever go back to that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking, you know? And it's like, no, we have an opportunity to build something super awesome where all the pieces are working together to help this athlete peak at the right time, in season versus out of season, like looking at all those things. So,
and that's also something that I've noticed too with working alongside other coaches, or working with personal trainers, and it sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, because I think there is that stepping on each other's toes type thing.
Yeah.
Especially with me, because I know I like to do strength and conditioning stuff with folks. So as soon as it's like they're ready to do that, I'm like,
we're doing strength and conditioning.
All right, well, I'm doing it with you because I want to. But I also know, like, okay, well, if you have someone that you've already been working with, go and work with them. And then let's just keep the conversation rolling, because I would love to know, like, how that person is squatting, how they're lunging, how they're running, how they're cutting, how they're jumping, what it looks like when they get into the game versus when they're, are at practice, things like that. Like, I want to kind of know these things too, because one, if for some reason they do need to come back in for some maintenance stuff, then I already have an idea of what they've been doing, what the struggles have been. I may even be able to give some insight of, like, oh yeah, I noticed like there's a range of motion issue with this and this, like, maybe keep trying that stuff and add a little, like, I want to be able to assist however I can, versus it being that I'm trying to take someone from someone. It's not, to me, it's not about winning a client over. It's more about, I just want this person to get better and get back to what they need to do. And so if we can be a team and do that,
huge,
the better. But I think getting into burnout for more the clinician side of things would be a good thing to chat about, and maybe we'll do that at our next session, because I think we've taken this a little long.
So I was just gonna say, let's
maybe wrap that up, and then we'll chat with you guys next time about clinicians and how you may be dealing with some burnout and what are some ways that you can manage that, so you are able to treat people and be in tip-top shape when doing it.
How are we optimally performing?
All
right. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I know this one took a little longer, and we kind of cut the topic in half, but we'll definitely get the second half done. But as usual, we don't know when it'll drop. We don't know how long it'll be. We do know the topic, so there's that. We do know that. We don't even know how we're going to fold the towels.
They might be rolled up.
Stick around, and we'll see you next time.
We may just unfold them. I don't know.